Hey guys, Dan here again on Dan's 30-foot dory build. I'm going to just give you a little bit of an update today since there's not really very much going on. I have actually completed the exterior of the hull, the framework. Half of the bottom of the boat is covered in 2x4s, which I've decided to go with since I had half the bottom worth of 2x4s in my yard. Instead of wasting them, I decided to cover the bottom of them. So I got 50% of the way. Haven't done anything on it now in a couple of weeks since my last video. I have covered up the entire project right now with tarps, and as you can see back behind me, it's draping out pretty far from the hull. I made extensions off the hull to let the tarp hang down without touching the hull because the rain hitting the tarp and the wind blowing the tarp in the air is causing a bit of water to get through. Now, I'm not using waterproof wood, which means it's not marine plywood, and which is just fine. That was my choice. There is no damage to the woodwork on my hull at this point. So what I have decided to do here is waterproof the hull and waterproof the bottom, because it's going to be sitting here until next spring now. I've ran out of, well, I haven't really ran out of money. I'm on a budget, and I spend so much every month on the boat. I spent all of 2020 collecting wood late fall throughout the winter, so I had supplies to start this project spring of 21, and I've done that. The boat is square. The boat is true. All plywood are glued and tapered. Went really well. I was using 18 mil, not 3/4 inch ply. It's 18 mil birch, and a lot of people said we might have a little trouble bending that around those radiuses. Well, you'd think I would, but I didn't. I clamped one end and I pushed down on the other end and I drew it in slowly, and it did go around the hull beautifully. I had no problems. So what I have to do now is assume that I'm basically done for the summer, unless I go to bingo and win some money or something, and I'm able to go out and purchase more product. So the plan here is to waterproof the shell of the boat until next summer. Okay, so that's going to probably happen at the middle of next week. I've just burned up today. I burned up the first week of 3 weeks holiday, and that's my plan for next week. Is I'll be getting a product, probably Thompson's water sealer. I've used that before. I'm basically just going to paint this over the entire hull, and coming spring I'll just have to sand it out when I start epoxying the hull. So that being said, that's how I'm going to store this for the winter. I have no choice now but to get in a wrap-up mode, other than the fact that I do want to waterproof the hull, waterproof the boat as best I can, so there's no damage over the winter. Our winters here from tip to stern are usually about 7 months before I can actually start working again, and that's what you get when you live in Canada over here out in Alberta. I knew that was going to happen. I'm giving myself a 3-year window to start and finish this boat. Now, of course, if you've been following, I'm no professional videotape person. I just take my iPhone here and I try my best to clue you in what I'm doing, and that's all this video is for. I have not seen anybody else post a 30-foot dory build, and I think it's a little bit different than a 19 or 20-foot build, because the boat is just that much bigger. There's just that more materials, just that much more work, and I just thought it'd be fair to show you all that are interested in some of the steps I've had to go through and hurdles to get to where I am right now. Now, I would uncover the boat for you right now. The sun's going down here. But there's really not much to see. It's up a plywooded boat. That's it. Okay. I may do another video on a sunnier day, and there won't be very much else I can tell you, unless I videotape the waterproofing of the hull. Now I've used Thompson's wood sealer before, many years ago, and it really worked good. I used it on a tent. It worked really good. I made a deck out of hemlock for my tent where we were camping. Wasn't the best spot in the world. Lots of water when it rained. It worked swell. The Thompson's water sealer works swell. So this is what I'm going to do: is use Thompson water sealer to seal the boat until next summer. I'm going to spend the rest of the year collecting products, the fiberglass for the boat, and the epoxy, which the bulk will probably be purchased next summer around April, I'm thinking. I want to try to do the epoxy fiberglass job in one event, meaning I'm going to start very early in the morning, and by nightfall, or before nightfall hopefully, I will get 2 coats of 1708, not 1712, but 1708. It's a little heavier, reinforced. Why? It's a 510 a foot. So just under $150 a run. So I need a couple of runs. I think this is just the choices I had. I can get 6 ounce, no problem. It's a little cheaper at $4, and I think it was $4.50 a lineal foot by 60, and the other product is 50 inches wide. But I'm going to wrap the boat across the boat. I won't be running my strips down the boat. I've seen, sorry, little bug or something there. I've seen people run the material the full length of the hull, and then on the top and the bottom, which is fine. I don't know any better, so I figure if that works just fine. I also seen a couple of videos where they run it across the hull in shorter strips, and more manageable, I think, and I'm going to try that with a minute, I think, a 1-inch overlap, and then the second run would be offset from the first one, so the seams don't fall on the same seam on the second run. So that's the way I am planning to do this epoxy and fiberglass. I'll be going across the boat. I'm going to put on so many runs, then start my second run, and then just keep on going that way. Another thing I've also decided to do, and believe me, this is just an idea, it pops in my head. I obviously have screw holes from the screws that I have installed on the sheeting to fasten it to the frames. I notice a lot of people are filling those. Yeah, I'm not going to. No, I've decided to leave them open. I'm going to let the epoxy, when I roll it on, and the fiberglass that I'm going to put on, seal those holes for me. They may even act as a little bit of extra holding power because the epoxy is going to sink into the hole, which I think is maybe 1/4 of an inch deep anyway. Now, when you go to fair the hull, when the fiberglass sets and you're all done, I noticed the tips from a shipwright. He doesn't use a sandpaper. I used to do body work. I know what it is to use a sander, and it's dirty, and one more time, it's dirty. But he takes a paint scraper, 2-edge paint scraper, and he just scrapes it, takes all the high points off. I never thought of that. You know, years I've been playing with paint, I never thought of that. So he says he gets a paint scraper, keeps a couple extra blades with him, and as it sets up, he just goes over it from the front to the back, and he just scrapes up all the high spots. And then when he says that's a beautiful job, he says it levels that out really good, takes most of the work out of it. Then he fairs it with a compound and then sands that out. But he says he uses very little of it. So from what I've seen his work, it comes out good. That's the route I'm going to take. Yeah. So that being said, once I reach that point, I will have to look into paint. Now, that's something I haven't really looked into yet. It's obviously going to be, I believe, an epoxy-based paint. Now, if I can epoxy paint straight to the fiberglass, I will do that. but I will get the opinion of my supplier what is best to do. I may have to spray on a coat of primer in order to have that epoxy stick to the boat, and we will find out then whichever way I'll have to go to do that, because I don't want the things start peeling on me, right? Of course. Now, just my attitude about this whole project is, I am not. In the 80s, in the late 80s, I used to build a 14-foot fiberglass racing boat for a company called BY Plastics. They're not around anymore. I learned a lot about fiberglassing boats back then, because we used to wax the molds. We used to Gelco spray the inside of the mold, and then 5 or 6 of us would start laying out resin while somebody else mixes it up for us, and kept on passing to us as we roll out the inside of the hull. So I got that experience behind me. I also, when I was growing up, made a few auto parts out of fiberglass, and the knowledge I gained from working in a fiberglass shop building boats came in handy, because whatever I did came out right. So I feel that I am prepared, fully prepared, to fiberglass this 30-foot boat. I just wish I can do it now. So that's what the plan is. It ain't going to be, I'm not aiming for a beautiful finish. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm crapping out here. I don't, unless you put a boat in a hull inside a mold, that's almost the only way to get that beautiful finish, unless you spend a lot of time and extra money on fairing material to sand out the entire boat. I want to get close, but it ain't going to be 100% car finish. Now, I believe even at that point, you put it in water, it should be able to cruise through the water just as well as anything else. I don't think that's going to cause it to bog down, just to have a minute rough finish on it. I'm also not building a racing boat. I have absolutely no intentions of getting 25 miles an hour out of this boat. That's not why I'm building it. I'm building it as a cruiser. So I think if I understand the language, if I can get 6 or 7 knots out of it, that's going to be perfect. Regardless if I'm fishing or out with the family, riding and fishing, speed is not the issue here. The waters we have here don't need speed. They're all big giant lakes. You drop your boat off in that lake, you go fishing or boating, you come right back out the same place, load up your boat and leave. I would like to take this out to Vancouver, get on the ocean and try it out there too. I'm sure it would handle it just fine. A little choppier water, but just bigger water, a lot more places to go see. That's in the future. So, there you go. I see a lot of guys taking their boats on videos and cranking that outboard full out to see how fast they can go with it. You know, I don't get it. They want to know how fast their boat's going to go. I guess if that's important to them, that's just fine with me. I don't care how fast the boat goes. As long as it can go faster than I can walk or paddle, I'll be happy. You know, and that's my goal here. Besides the fact that a lot of it is giving me something to do. I'm a handyman. I like keeping busy, and I thought this project would, and I think it is. I'm enjoying it. I've had leaps and bounds putting up the frame. I'd say it's about 85, 90, maybe 90% perfect, if you want to call it that. But my carpentry is very rough. It is very rough. I've seen videos where guys, you know, they're using a ton of filler to fill in their carpentry. I don't think I have to do that much. You know, any big mistakes I have is because I miscalculated, or I cut out a chunk where I probably shouldn't have cut a chunk out, which is easily replaceable, actually. So I got a lot of cleanup in the interior of the boat, around the top of the gunnels and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's I'm having a lot of fun with it. Really am. I got this little stand for my camera now. The picture, as long as I'm not handling the camera, you won't get sick with the shaking going on. It's just there's a fancy handle I can get with that stabilizes the picture, the whole camera, and I don't think I want to do that. I think I just want to get a proper camera. I'm having a lot of fun videotaping these things, and I'm just trying to get it good enough so you can see what's going on. Now, this little tripod I have holding the camera, as you can see, is pretty sturdy. All I got to do is set up certain areas around the boat where I can actually just walk over and put the camera on it, on its little tripod here, and just, let you see what I'm up to. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just trying to make it better for you as best I can. So I think I'm going to leave this session as it is. I don't honestly think there's more that I can say that will enlighten you. So I think I'm just going to end it here today. Once again, my subscribers, thank you very much. I really appreciate you hitting subscribe. Everyone else, please hit that like button. I surf the internet, continuously watching different programs. I mean, I watch everything. Submarines, building boats, yachts, everything. And if I see something of interest, I just hit like. And I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for the person that's making the video. Because if that's the least I can do to make their life better, it's worth every second it takes to hit like. Okay? I know when you hit subscribe, you end up with that channel on your phone or on your computer, and maybe a lot of people don't want 2,000 different videos they can choose from to look at because every time you subscribe. But at least hit like. And once again, I'm going to appreciate it. And I'm going to keep on making these videos, and I'm going to keep on posting them regardless. I don't have the means of editing. I've mentioned that numerous times in my videos. I'm sorry. You either got to fast forward through my video and pick out what you want to see, or just put up the whole video. I know I've made them a lot shorter than I was when I started, just to make it easier on everyone. So thank you very much. Have yourself a good evening, and until we meet again.